So this past weekend, I headed to the Undiscovered Realm Con in White Plains, New York, and I picked up some comic books. Let's take a look at the show and what I picked up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description of this video for links to my eBay store, email, whatnot, and Instagram. So this past weekend was the Undiscovered Realm Con in White Plains, New York. It is a comic and pop culture show. It's more than just a comic show. It's more of a con. And I mean that by convention, not a con job or anything like that. But at any rate, so it has the Funko Pops and the cosplay and all the other stuff that people set up with original artists and what have you. It also had very much, it had like, I think, video game contests and other such things, cosplay. And so it's at the Westchester County Center. And I only stayed on the first floor. I think there were signings either and panels. There was other stuff going on as well. So I went there Saturday morning, and then I came back again Sunday afternoon. So on Sunday, I decided to take a little tour of the show.
So we got a Spider-Man hoodie over there. I still can't figure out who that guy in the green suit is. I still can't figure that one out.
So we are at the Undiscovered Realm comic show. It's at the Westchester County Center, which is about, I think it was a 17-minute drive this morning. So I'm in the area that's not comic books. There's all sorts of other stuff. So let's take a look around. It's my second day. I'd come yesterday on Saturday and bought some comic books. Probably buy some more today, but just take a little more leisurely look around. So I brought the kids today. They have money, and they're old enough to go around on their own. So we got Funko Pops over here. Let's turn around and take a look. So we got the Funko Pops. We have toys and cards, other stuff, people selling their own wares. Lots of Funko Pops.
So you can only do it online?
And there's cosplay.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, thank you. The one thing is, with the toys, I don't usually see a lot of vintage toys, aka toys from my childhood. So here's some comic trade paperback stuff. I'm not interested in that. Whatever these things are. And of course we have swords. T-shirt designs. More shirts and cosplay kind of stuff. More pops. A lot of pops. There's often, like, this is the kind of area where you got to keep an eye out, because there could be somebody like with just random comic books. That's not their primary thing, so those are the places you get some deals. There's like gaming tournaments up on the stage. And no, there's artist tournaments. I think the gaming tournaments are somewhere else. So this aisle is generally where the comics are. I hit up the 5 for 20s yesterday. Got some cool stuff there.
Do they start camp the next Monday right away?
Oh yeah. And last year I got it.
Yeah, you had the little one. What do you think of the large? I mean, the medium.
I don't know if I took a look at that booth. I was over in this area. I bought from him before. He has some really a ton of wall books.
We found a second book off. Where? In Brooklyn.
Over here, I got books there yesterday. And there.
I was a kid when I was reading that. I was like, Miller Breathing Way, man. When I was
Toys. And then we have a big boy over here. There's Gary set up over here. There's a huge wall, of course. Big end cap. Refreshments are over on the other side of that wall there.
we got a raptor here.
Something must be.
Okay, she knows. Okay, let's be honest here.
I don't know. I'm like
He essentially just has a wall. Oh, there's some books over there. Did I look there? Okay, with collector auction set up.
I met her a while ago through the Westchester. Okay. Yeah, she told me it was.
So that's about it for the main level of the show. I think downstairs is like creator signings and stuff. So somebody set up with pretzels.
So there you get a little bit of a flavor of what the show looked like. The comic book vendors were more or less in like an aisle and a half. They were pretty much together. Sometimes you like to look for the folks that have a few comic books and not much else. So I found some pretty good stuff. I found some good PC stuff and some others. So we talk about Save, Sell, Slab, Spec. We're going to go through that with this. So even before that, I had looked up, because the convention started at 10 a.m. And I looked online, the Yard Sale Finder or Craigslist or whatever it is. There was an ad not too far away from my house, 15, 20 minutes away from the house, which is the same time it would take me to get to the Westchester County Center. They had comic books, $1 each. I said, let me roll the dice. It's not that far from home. So I went, and actually a woman is in front of me, and she's looking through the comics and taking some stuff out. I'm like, is she finding stuff? She didn't strike me as a comic collector. And then she showed her, I guess, husband, significant other, the dude she was with. And he said no. And I was like, yeah, there's not much here. So $1 each. It was a small box of comics. That was about it. I picked out 5 books. Blue Beetle #1 special edition. I already have this. This came out right around the time that the Blue Beetle movie came out. We'll attempt to sell that. If not, we'll leave it as a giveaway. Magneto #1 from Marvel Now era. This one I've been picking up when I see it in dollar bins. This is Strange Adventures #1 with Adam Strange by Tom King. There have been rumors that they are going to have Will Poulter playing Adam Strange in the Supergirl film. Maybe Supergirl. And maybe he gets his own project just at the rumor stage at this point. That they'll adapt this Tom King run. This was probably the best find of the 5 books I picked up because I have all the other issues. I didn't have this for the PC. Billy Batson and the Magic of Shazam. This is very much a kid's book, but that's also kind of in the tradition of the original Captain Marvel. So this is going into the PC. That is going into my save pile. And yeah, for some reason I did not have issue number 1 of this comic, and I had all the rest. My LCS, and I was kind of... this, I think, came out right around the time I got married. So I wasn't really focusing that much on comic books at the time. But my PC didn't always put that aside. And then I also picked up this. This is kind of an interesting, quirky little thing. Exit Stage Left. The Snagglepuss Chronicles. Snagglepuss was a Hanna-Barbera character. And DC did some reimaginings of those characters to be... a little bit more serious in nature. So his catchphrase was exit stage left. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting reimagining of the character. Yeah. And he's a gay Southern playwright. So he's a... I don't know what kind of animal Snagglepuss is. He's definitely feline, but I don't know. Like, he's pink. And I guess that was coded in the 1960s for such things. It just came out just a few years ago, but I'm like, I needed a 5th book. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't have that. So then I was like, I had plenty of time to kill because, as I said, Undiscovered Realm started at 10. And I didn't want to get there too early because they're not going to open the doors. It was getting very warm out. So I just looked for other garage sales in the area. I found another one. So I walk up, and, you know, there's the driveway has all the tchotchkes and everything. At the top of the driveway in front of the garage is a guy like in his 30s maybe who had sports cards, baseball cards, modern stuff. And I said, do you have any comic books by chance? He says, no. And we were just chatting about baseball cards and what have you. And... you know, that was about it. Just, you know, exchanging pleasantries and talking about, you know, I do have sports cards I collected as a kid and, you know, with my dad and stuff. And probably at some point in time, I'm going to, on this channel, we'll do some unveilings or some unboxings of graded cards. At any rate, he says, I do have one comic book. So he goes inside and he pulls out this. G.I. Joe. Number 1 first print. And I looked it over. It's like a fine, very fine kind of range. And I asked him, I go, are you selling this? He goes, and I had a number in mind that I was, you know, fairly going to pay for it. He said $60. I'm like, that was the number I had in mind. Deal. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a press. And then that'll go in. I've been saving up for a G.I. Joe Transformers Whatnot show. So then I did head to the county center. One of the vendors had $5 books. And then there was like, I think, 5 books for $20. So essentially $4 books. So I picked up a stack of stuff, and I was basically kind of picking up stuff. This is mostly for resale because people enjoy these titles. Amazing Spider-Man, 237 with Stiltman. 173, so nice to get something under 200. 333, a Venom cover. That's Larson, I believe. Then Alpha Flight 1, decent copy, not a 9.8 contender, but VF near mint range. Spider-Man Noir, number 1. I'm going to put this in like my spec pile, and I don't know if I'll either sell it or use it as a giveaway. That TV show starring Nicolas Cage, they're filming now, and it doesn't have a specific release date, but it's scheduled to be released in 2026. So this is actually the 2nd volume of Spider-Man Noir. It's not his first appearance or his first ongoing or anything. So that goes in the spec pile. Oh, that goes with the Adam Strange. And I like to garage sale. I like to put little stickers on the books to indicate where they came from, because that's often how us collectors are. We're very detail oriented. Then this is a little bit lower grade. I was a little disappointed when I got it out of the Mylar. It's a classic Brian Boland cover with Starro. Avengers 195. This is a cameo appearance of Taskmaster. George Perez cover. I think that's Perez. Is that Perez or Byrne? I always get that confused. Perez. Yeah. Classic X-Men number 3. This also, I think, is in a little bit lower grade. This is the anniversary border in a newsstand. Especially the newsstands, I always pick those up for the anniversaries. X-Men 184. This is the first appearance of Forge. Also a newsstand. X-Men 197 newsstand. Classic Doom cover. X-Men 200 newsstand. This was hot for a moment. Leading up to X-Men 97 when the trailer showed Magneto in this ridiculous outfit. I'm not a huge fan of that particular. X-Men 201 newsstand. This is the first appearance of Nathaniel Summers, a.k.a. Cable as a baby. Gotta love your baby first appearances. X-Men 234 classic cover. This is by Mark Silvestri. X-Men 256. The reintroduction of Psylocke. I think that's how best to describe it. X-Men 283. First full appearance of Bishop. That might be a spec book. And X-Men 282 newsstand. First cover appearance of Bishop. Cameo of him in this one. And then I also picked up this. This was more than $5, but it's in pretty nice shape. The problem is this is the third appearance of Harley Quinn in DC continuity. I kind of stretched for that one, but whatever. So those will probably mostly go for sale. Then there was one vendor I picked up a couple of books from, both from the same year actually, or the same era. Justice League of America 102, one of my all-time favorite stories. This is a nicer copy. This is, if you watch my channel, this is like my all-time favorite comic book. Because this is the comic that got me started as a comic collector. I'll reiterate this because I think, it's like one of those things that's like your comic book origin story. I became a comic book collector because I love this book, right? It has the 7 Soldiers of Victory and so on. But on the last panel here, next issue on sale, on or about October 10th. So it got to be on or about October 10th. I'm like, Mom, we got to get issue 103. I need the next one of this. And sure enough, Pathmark, I think she bought it for me. The next issue of it with the Phantom Stranger. And then I got the next one and the next one and the one after that and continued. For some reason, I had a pull list of my LCS at the time. For some reason, I didn't get 198 or 202. And when I was going through about 8 years ago, reorganizing my entire collection, I'm like, how am I missing those? I went on eBay and bought mint copies. So that is cool. And then the other book I picked up from him is a very nice copy of Swamp Thing number 3. Bernie Wrightson cover. This is in the 9s. It definitely needs a press. There's some indentations on it. Like, maybe it was on the top of the pile when they wrapped it, because there's like an indentation there. Anyway, pressable stuff. Definitely in the 9s. I'm not going to get it graded at this point in time. But this does complete the Wrightson run for me. I do want to pick up the later issues because I'm a completist and I'm insane. But that's, a really, really nice copy of issue number 3. And now do I go to upgrade my other Wrightson issues? I don't know. But fun to have. That was my best Saturday grab. And then there was another vendor I got some books from. I got this X-Men 450. This is first X-23 and Uncanny X-Men. I needed this one. I didn't have this New Avengers 47. And then I grabbed this New Avengers 27. This is when Clint Barton becomes Ronin. Oh, and I also picked up these two. I'm trying to finish up my X-Men run. I think I read to about 461, and then I stopped because I needed to cut down because of my mortgage at the time. And then You know, when you first buy a place, you're a little stretched. So I just picked up those. Those are PC books. And then, the last batch, I also picked these up on Saturday, were from Very Gary's booth. These are all PC. These are all going to be PC. Doom Patrol 120. This is the next to last issue of the run. The 121 is the one where they're all killed off. And then DC did bring it back for a few issues in the mid-70s, like 73, 74, with reprints, which they did with a number of titles. And I have another example here. But that's a Neil Adams cover also. Am I collecting Doom Patrol? I was thinking about it. Like, I went through a collection and I had like 3 copies or 4 copies of Doom Patrol. I'm like, maybe I'll just collect those. This is I've been very slow walking this particular run. I probably have most of them somewhere somehow. Shazam number 10, where Aunt Minerva is trying to force Shazam to marry her. And then I think this completes this mini run of the title. This is Strange Adventures number 213. Neil Adams cover. This is Dead Man. So Dead Man ran for about 10 issues in Strange Adventures. All the first one's by Infantino, the rest are by Neil Adams. So I went back on Sunday. Now on Saturday, the line, and we had a clip earlier, the line was long to get in. And they didn't even open the doors till about 10:08. And then they were like, they had VIPs over here, tickets holders here. If you're going to buy tickets, you got to wait for all the ticket holders to get in. So I'm like, I don't have a ticket yet. Because Saturday wasn't sure I was going to go. So while I'm standing in line, went on my phone, bought a ticket. And there was a reduced rate for buying the tickets earlier. So then Sunday I brought the kids. And they went around. They each got a Funko Pop. And I picked up some more comic books. And these were all in a $5 bin, and there was a good one. There was a good one in here. This, as I was saying, this is Challengers of the Unknown number 80. This is one of those 1973 when they rebooted this and a couple of other titles like Doom Patrol, and I think Inferior 5. It was really weird. But they had a lot of reprint books like Secret Origins, Wanted, Legion of Superheroes were all reprint books that came out around this time. And fairly recent reprints, right? From within 10 years. So that I'm just going to throw on the PC. You know, I'm trying to collect every DC book from 72, and maybe I'll go on to 73. Maybe not so much with the romance stuff. But anyway. Then Incredible Hulk number 214. This is the first cover appearance of Jack of Hearts. His first appearance was in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. I can't remember the number. I think it was Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. It was one of the magazines. Anyway, that goes in the spec pile. As does this new X-Men 129, first cover appearance of Phantom X. This was a character who was highly, highly speculated on in the boom. Then I got another copy of X-Men 282, but this is just... the back is really messed up. It's like a 3-0, so I'm just going to put that in a giveaway pile. Thor 246, a Thor Firelord battle. These were all in a $5 bin. I think I ended up paying like $3.85 for each. Superman number 4, first appearance of Bloodsport. Remember when this book was huge? The 9.8 once sold for $475. The good news about that was I made that sale. Right when the movie came out. I had bought 2 9/8s the week before, or a month before. The movie came out for about $200 and change each, and then I sold one for $475, one for $450 once the movie came out. And it's never going to see that value again. So that's just going in the sale pile. Then this one I couldn't pass up. I loved my 100-page. I already have the run of these, but this is a Superboy 100-page Super Spectacular. You got the Legion, Kid Eternity, the Teen Titans, Supergirl, Pete Ross, Discovering a Secret, all that fun stuff. Then I picked up some Superman books. Now, one of them, 190. It's a pretty decent copy of 190. The Element Enemies. This one, this little chip. The Great Imaginary Novel. It's not just an imaginary tale, it's an imaginary novel. Daddy, will we ever see Mommy again? In memoriam, Lois Lane. And this is kind of cute. Beloved wife of Superman, devoted mother of Laney. I guess after her last name. 1938 to 1969. So they did have her birth date of 1938, which is when she premiered in Action Comics 1. Found that cute. This is Superman 226, where he becomes King Kong. Now, in terms of like how the Bronze Age changed comics, it didn't change Superman too much. This is right around the time that Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil started working on Green Lantern, and Superman's still doing this ridiculousness. Then this is the one that there was a coupon clipped on the last page, so that's going to be giveaway material as well. Then I grabbed, talking about the newsstand anniversaries, Spectacular Spider-Man. And then I found one more book. And I was like, it's one of those books where, oh, wait, this could be, usually it never is, right? It's like, is this the Robin second print newsstand, or the Batman 457, or the price variant? This is Superman number 75, Death of Superman. It is the third print newsstand. This is maybe, there aren't a lot of them sold. It might be like a $100 comic book. It's about a 9.0, 8590. So I don't think it's worth submitting. But yeah, third print newsstand is very rare for Death of Superman. And I'm sure there are collectors that try to get all the iterations of this. I am not one of them. Yeah. So, I mean, I do have every issue of Superman, like from 120 forward for this run, The Adventures of Superman, all of them. But I don't need this one. So, but that was a great find in a $5 bin. Really happy with that. Then Dave from Comic Book Auctions, is that the name of his? Anyway, he and Joe were set up, and I went by there with him, was chatting, and so my kids are like, can we have lunch? I picked up a pretty nice copy of Shazam 19. It does have a grease pencil date on it, but that's pretty cool. I probably have this already. It's not logged into my database as me having it. So that's PC. Then we had the first cover. This is the first appearance of Phantom X. Very minty book. I'm probably going to this is like the only book of the day that I'm going to slab. I picked Amazing Spider-Man 81. The Kangaroo, just to get some fun Silver Age and Silver Surfer 8. And then I hit one more vendor. They were a little sticky on prices, but whatever. I picked up Booster Gold 36. Kind of need that. This Booster Gold run wasn't set aside for me at the time, and I really enjoyed a lot of time travel on bouncing around different parts of DC's history. So that was fun. And then number 40. And then I grabbed this. This book I grab pretty much whenever I see it as a spec book. I did just get a 9.8 of this. It is DC Comics Presents 52. Superman and the Doom Patrol, but it's first appearance of Ambush Bug. And then this book I picked up. I'm looking to upgrade. I always looking to upgrade this, and I never see. I think I have a 9.4 or a 9.2 or 9.4, and I think this could be an upgrade. It's really clean. It's Firestorm number 1. First appearance of Firestorm. It's a 78. There is, there's stress at the staples. So I think this would be a 9.4. I might submit. I think I'm going to submit this. Actually, I am going to submit this. So this is going in the slab pile also. So, that does it for the pickups. The Superman third print newsstand is really the find of the day. The best book, I think my favorite book to find was the Swamp Thing number 3 because of the condition, and then it does complete my rights and run. So let me know what you thought was my best pickup. Which book are you most interested in? And if you were able to get to the Undiscovered Realm Con, there were a lot of good vendors there, like Gary was set up and stuff. So it was a good, solid show. And coming up this weekend is the Garden State Comic Fest. That I don't know which day, but I'm going to be headed to that. So if you see me, say hi. I see some people in the comments. Oh, you were locked in. I do talk too much, but say hi. It's I'm approachable. When I first was doing the channel and people were approaching me at conventions, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say put off by it, but kind of taken aback by it because I wasn't used to it. But now that I am, it's okay. So I do appreciate the kind words when I see people at shows or in general public. I think I've seen one person at a movie once who recognized me. Granted, it was like a superhero movie probably. But at any rate, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.